People are mad. People are like... really, really mad. Like, really, really mad. Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump, back for another OPTC video. And in today's video, I put this post out on my community tab this morning for you guys to have a little bit of a vent. Yesterday's anniversary video caused a bit of a riot within the community and pissed a lot of people off. And I do want to start this video by saying, I get it. I really do. In my reaction video, I copped a lot of flack for being hype and stuff like that, but that was an initial reaction. And to be honest, I am actually still hyped for anniversary. I understand people's gripes, and we're going to get into that in a second. I'm actually going to go through all these comments. In 3 hours, over 214 people voted yes, go off. There's 25 comments, and a lot of them are in-depth comments about their gripes at anniversary. And all of these points, I have sort of touched on them a little bit. Like, I've read through them a little bit. I've spoken to a lot of people in the comment section on my reaction video, and all of these points have a lot of justification. But before we dive into these comments, I am going to just give my take after digesting all this content within about the last 24 hours. It's not 24 hours, but about 20 hours or so. So, if we head over to Twitter, we head over to the One Piece Twitter page, we can bring up the second video that got announced. This has got all of the interesting content in it, besides the sort of release of that character and all of the pretty stuff that first minute-long video had. The first minute video was basically like going through time and was sort of just focusing on anniversaries. But this particular video has the crux of the most information that we have right now. And I'm going to pause the video. I want you to pause yourself and remember that we only have a slither of information for what anniversary is to bring and is to come. There obviously is a lot more coming, and that is probably a big issue that a lot of people have because they want all the information right now. You just have to be patient. Be a little bit patient. We are going to get more information as time goes on, as anniversary still doesn't start for another 2 days. The information over today, tomorrow, and even the hours before anniversary, we will get a lot more. So we're going to continue this video. As you guys can see, when you log in, you get 99 gems. 99 off the cusp. It's just enough for 2 multis, and I do understand a lot of people think that it's not enough. But that's just a login bonus. You have another 50 gems through login, you have 25 through login, and 4 red tickets, amassing at 174 gems just for logging in. You just got to click the login button. That's all you got to do. This is good. This is a good thing, and I do want to highlight that. I am going to give credit where credit is due, and I might be playing devil's advocate, and you might disagree with me. 174 gems may not seem like a lot, but remember, this is just to log in. This is not including the play the game gems. This is not all the extra gems that we get through events, through rewards, through all of that stuff as well. As you guys saw there is free multis as well. It's pretty stock standard stuff, but I do want to highlight that they have put the anniversary characters there as well. That is a big change. All those anniversary exclusive characters are on the free-to-play multi, and I get it. You probably didn't summon them, but I have seen people summon them. I have seen people pull stuff like Hawkins. I have seen people pull stuff like Killer, so you can do it. It is there. Just because you got unlucky, or just because it didn't work for you, doesn't mean that it's all shit, okay? But I do understand that it's still probably not enough, but we still need to recognize that it is actually there. My big gripe and my big concern lies with this page right here. We already knew this shit. This is stuff we already knew, bar this thing that my camera's covering, which is double super success rate for 2 times for 3 days. Luffy's Meat Carnival, terrific campaign. Love that they're doing this with the Straw Hats, but we already knew about this. This was something we already knew. The 9th anniversary closing fortune draw is something that happens pretty much every single year. You get lucky, you don't get lucky. It's still free shit for your account. It still bolsters your account in some way, just like those free multis. As for the double, I'm going off. The double power-up success rate campaign, the 2 times up, isn't amazing that it's only 3 days, but it's still something that is going to help a lot of players out with saving resources. So this is a time where you want to level up your characters, check out some tier lists, the characters that you love. If you want a 150 characters, your PvP characters, really good Kazuna characters, they're the characters that you're really going to want to focus on. Yes, it sucks that it's only for 3 days, but it's a lot better than what we normally have, where it's normally only 1 day. So that is an improvement. Whilst it still needs to be more, And I wish there was more information here, because it's pretty much shit we already knew. There are things that are changing, and there are things that are getting better. They are doing it at a steady rate, but there still needs to be more. And this is my problem. Like, the countdown quiz, the invite campaign, it's great that they're using social media platforms. It's great that they're getting people to join. But this is shit we already knew. This is stuff we already have. And this was my issue, or is my issue with the video. The video should be giving us information that we didn't know. And the information that we got was such a slither, which opens the doors to lots of questions, which can bring in a lot of negativity. And I do understand that, and it's definitely warranted. Yoshi was nowhere to be seen, which is a huge problem for me. It's the biggest celebration of the year, and the producer couldn't even show up for a video this way. Couldn't even show up for a video doesn't make sense to me. I get it. It's easier to pump this video out, but the fact that there was no information and it was all just PNGs anyway begs me to believe that they either don't want a part of this, or they're really sort of dropping the ball on that regard. That's what we should be focusing on, not stuff like the character choice, not stuff like the banners are going to suck and the film red debacle that may or may not happen. So, this is the big concern for me. The content, they're banking a lot on PKA. Now, I'm going to talk about this alternate art thing in a second, but this sort of stuff to me just seems like a linear platform. PKA is where they are sort of driving a lot of their stuff, and a lot of people are saying, this unit's cool, awesome, powerful character, but where's the content? Well, I don't know if people forgot, but PKA is a whole new game mode that is meant to run over daily content. So you log in, you don't have to grind. You play the game, it's going to be different. It involves Pirate Rumble, involves regular quests, and this is where these characters are probably going to be very good. So I do understand people saying, oh, there's no content now, but there will be content. There definitely will be content. The question and the big kicker that I want to ask, is the content going to be enough? Is a blitz going to be enough? Is there going to be clashes or not ambushes, arenas? Like, they're just nowhere to be seen nowadays. I think including one of them is something that's going to be very powerful, very, very good for Anniversary. PKA needs to pop off. PKA needs to go incredibly hard. Stuff like Kazuna and Treasure Map, they need to be good events that give either a lot of rewards or make it easier to play the grindy game modes and allow players to have fun. At the end of the day, if you're not playing this game to have fun, honestly, like, hard question, what are you doing? If you're not having fun and you're not enjoying the content, why are you playing the game? Like, what keeps you here? Really check yourself if that's a question. But this character is a topic of conversation, which we will touch on. But that's a big thing that I really want people to understand. That content will come, and whilst there might not be anything to do right now, and I wish there was too, there will be stuff to do. But I am more of a glass half full kind of guy rather than a glass half empty kind of guy, and I am sort of looking at what is to come, and then I will make all of my initial opinions and have all of my initial reactions on whether this is a good or a bad celebration. As of right now, I am in agreement with a lot of what you guys are saying. This is not great because of XYZ. Not having produced a video, lack of information. So close. The hype train has, like, absolutely dissipated, not only because the characters have controversy, but the fact that they haven't been building this up and haven't been showing face for what is to come. So, let's talk about the character, right? Let's talk about the character, and let's understand what and unpack what's happening here. So they've introduced this new quill pen that allows you to alternate between characters' artwork. Now, we're not 100% certain what this means. I initially thought it as, this is the 5-star art, this is the 6-star art, and with the new pen, you'd be able to bounce between the two. Looking at some older Super Sugos and some older characters, namely, I'm going to bring up Dex Luffy, the last year's anniversary Luffy. His 5-star art, in my opinion, looks way better than his 6-star art. And I would love to use this mechanic to change between those artworks. Now, whether or not this character has a 5-star art, or if it just has 2 6-star arts, you can summon both of these characters on the banner. So, like, each character does the same thing. They just have different artworks. Whether or not they've removed 5 stars, we don't actually know. But from what I can perceive right here from the information that we do have, is this is one artwork. This is another artwork. They both do the same thing. They're both available on the banner, so you can pull either of them. But from what we know right now, there is no 5-star art. That doesn't mean there won't be a 5-star art, but is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? For new players, not having a 5-star artwork would be very beneficial for saving materials. And even for endgame players, it does help a little bit. But endgame players should know how to use their resources, like stuff like tomes, like stuff like rumble scrolls, and use them as XP items to get them to that bracket, evolve them, and then go from there. The downside for new players without evolving characters is it does struggle or does hinder their Chopper Man missions, because you do need to evolve characters. But there are so many other characters in the game that you can evolve, so it's not that huge of a deficit. But it definitely does help out newer players with getting these characters to the max level without using super amount of resources. I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't think this is a good thing, however. If this was a 5-star and this is a 6-star, then yes, this would be a good thing in my opinion. 100% this would be a good thing. But from what we know right now, it's just an alternating artwork of a 6-star character. As for the character itself, people are up in arms about the fact that this is a Luffy and Yamato unit. And I want you to listen to my words right now. I get it. I understand the Luffy fatigue, and I sure as hell understand the Yamato fatigue. I'm not a huge Yamato fan. However, I do want to put a disclaimer right now. I'm going to talk about spoilers right here. So if you are an anime only watcher, you probably want to skip ahead a little bit to where I kind of do this. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and then you can start playing the video again. Yamato is not going to be around forever. After Wano, Yamato leaves. She's gone. So they are going to use Yamato as much as they can and milk as much as they can out of her. At the end of the day, this game is a product to Bandai. They need to sell a product, so you summon. And I'm sorry to say this, but also, I'm sorry to say this, global players, they don't care. They really don't care about the global side as much as they care about the Japanese side. And that is the hard truth. And even looking at the global compared to the Japanese side of things, by the way, I'm just going to go like this. Looking at the popularity of these characters from the Japanese side and the global side, if we take a look at this year's popularity poll, look who's up the top. Oh, look, it's okay, we can get rid of this. Go away. Okay, that didn't work. Seriously? Look who's up the top. You have Monkey D. Luffy, the most popular character in the entire anime. He's the protagonist. Of course they're going to release another Luffy. Yes, Zoro, Sanji, very prevalent characters in the anime right now. They're up the top as well, second and fourth favorite character. But they've been out since day one. We have followed these characters and we've become attached to these characters for about 25 years now. Take a look at the 11th spot. Yamato hasn't been in the anime or the manga nearly as long as our Straw Hat friends. Hell, she's even in front of Shanks. She beat my boy Shanks. And you're gonna sit there and tell me, oh my god, another Yamato. Spoilers again, anime watchers. Skip the video until you see this. But Yamato is not going to be around forever. And this is one of the last opportunities that they are gonna have to grab onto Yamato and milk as much as they can out of people. Japanese players, they love Yamato. Yamato is a huge favorite over in Japan. Waifus, they always pop off and it always makes them money. But in saying that, Zoro and Sanji will be coming for the anniversary. The anime has a week where they're doing a recap, and then we're getting into the King and Zoro fight. The information for the titles of the anime has been released, so we do know that that is coming. So I do believe that part 2 and part 3, or whatever parts there are of the anniversary, will include a Zoro and a Sanji, the Ifrit versus Queen. King and Queen probably will get some love as well. Before we touch on that, I do want to showcase this. This is the Middle East. Zoro is the most popular character. Luffy's 3rd. Yamato's 7th. Like I said, these characters will come. Definitely will come. But look, let's take a look at the common trend. Luffy, number 1. For where are we now? I don't know where this is. This is oh, this was the full vote tally. So this was the stock standard. Carrot getting so high, like shout out to Carrot. But remember, what's relevant in the anime is also going to be prevalent in what's going on as well. Luffy in Japan was the top character, Zoro, Sanji second and third. Like I said, they are to come, but you've also got Yamato in the Caribbean and Latin America, Luffy's third, Yamato seventh. You got Yamato fourth over in Africa, Luffy's third. They pop up everywhere. Luffy in Asia, most popular character. Okay, that's something that we're going to touch on in a second. But I do understand the fatigue. Don't get me wrong. I would have liked a Momo Luffy as much as the next guy. I would have loved something a little bit different as much as you guys do. However, as a business perspective, Momo is nowhere to be found on this list. Tell me where you can see Momo. Like, tell me. Even Odin is 24th, right? But it's a relevant character, so they can slap on Odin, Hiyori, Momo, and Toki all in one character to make it a little bit more desirable. That's the way of going about it. They make an anniversary exclusive rather than a Super Sugo, and that is why they're doing this stuff. Like I said, I definitely understand that guy is going to come, and this character might drop off drastically. However, you got to look at it from a business perspective as well, and why they've made these decisions. So that's my big thing around the topic of the unit. It is what it is, basically, and I'm kind of in, what's the word? I don't really care what characters they choose for the anniversary, as long as they do a good job of the characters themselves. And in my opinion, I think this character is very, very good. It has its flaws, and we don't know everything about the character, but from what we do know, they're in the topic of conversation of the best unit in the game. We still don't know what their final tap does as of me recording. We don't know what their super switch and their regular switch does, so there are a lot of questions that still need to be answered. Going back to this alternating artwork situation, I do also think that this is a bit of a money ploy to grab as much as they can out of the anniversary, which I don't like. I'm not a fan of this, provided there is no 5-star art. I just think it's kind of a waste of resources, and I really wish it wasn't there. But looking at the glass half full, or the devil's advocate, or the opposite side of the coin perspective, I can see why they're doing this, because I bet your ass Japanese players are licking their lips at the fact we have a Shonen Jump cover in the game now. Massive. Absolutely huge. PNGs in Japan sell, waifus in Japan sell, and popular characters in Japan that are relevant in the anime, they sell. That's the end of the day, they sell. That's the point. But if you don't like this, if you dislike that they've done this and they dislike the character, no one is clicking the summon button for you. No one is pressing that button. All you got to do is wait. You just have to wait, be a little bit more patient, and I understand that can be frustrating. I understand that can be hard, but no one is forcing you to summon here. The gem currency, the amount of resources that we get throughout the anniversary are plentiful. As you can see, login bonuses, 174 gems. There is a lot there, and just going off New Year's, and my boy Kribby, he managed to get to 30 multis with free-to-play gems. So, and if you are smart with your stones, or free rainbow gems, whatever you want to call them, if you were smart, you would already have a stockpile of these gems ready to go. Like, ready to go. I skipped Jack's batch. I skipped the Kazuna batch. Building up your currency and smartly using it is going to be the play. Now, we don't even know what this banner looks like with these characters here. We don't even know what the banner looks like with this particular unit, what the steps look like, how that's going to rock. However, like I said, no one's forcing you to summon, but the banner could be absolutely exceptional. You could have stuff like Nami, you can have stuff like Robin, you can have stuff like all of those other Super Sugo Fest and Anniversary characters that will be pullable for your account. If you've been skipping banners, like I've been telling you to skip banners, Hawkins, Killer, Jack, all these new characters are going to be on the banner too. You have the Anniversary characters of Luffy, Sabo, Ace. They're all going to be there as well. So there's a lot of gains for your account. But I do understand the mentality behind the Film Red Sugo debacle being a problem. Alright, so shout out to the Reddit Discord. I managed to find this just through Google Images, if I'm completely honest with you. But this is what everyone's sort of very concerned about. A repeat of the Film Red Sugo Fest. And I 100% hear you, and I 100% agree with you. Doing something like this is not good. Like, it was not a good time for players. It was not a good time for gem currency. And it was not a good time for people that struggle to save to be saving for these banners. However, we now know that they've done this before, and if this happens again, you are more prepared that the effect will not be the same, provided you don't spend all of your gems and resources from the very get-go. This banner, this prelude banner with Chopper and Uta, was still available when the Luffy banner went live on September 9th. 2 weeks apart, these banners were pretty much, 2 to 3 weeks apart, which is very bad. Lots of people would have liked all these characters on the same banner. It gives you a chance to summon these units. However, playing devil's advocate here, this can be a good thing if you strategically spend your gems to your advantage. What's to say that we knew Uta was like the best character from this particular celebration. We knew that she was getting a 6+. They handled it super poorly. They rectified it. That's a different topic of conversation. But most people would say that Uta's better than Shanks. Way better than Shanks, in my opinion. Uta's way better than the Luffy. You don't need to pull every single character all of the time to beat the content and to succeed in the events. I understand Anniversary is a time that a lot of people want all these brand new shiny characters, but when that guy comes that everyone's saving for, these characters from Anniversary, they're probably going to be there. If it's a Super Sugo Fest, they are probably going to be there. And if they're not, their banner will still be live, so you can make that decision a little bit later. This allows you guys, as players, to be accountable for your gems. You can stop and say, I don't need this character. I don't love this character. I'm annoyed and I'm fatigued at Luffy and Yamato, so I'm going to wait and see what happens next. I understand that is not easy, and I understand that is a controversial opinion. Flame me for the comment section if you like, but at the end of the day, we can throw criticism to say that this is a bad thing, but there is also good to that as well for you as a player, and you can use that to your advantage. Do I like this sort of structure? No, I don't, because I like to pull every unit in the game. I'm a whale. I'm still going to summon. And yes, people can sit there and say, Stump, you are part of the problem. But me spending money on a product that I enjoy, making content, playing the game, like, I don't see a problem of a mentality of spending money on something you like. I don't go out and buy designer clothes. I don't go out on the weekend, spend all my money on alcohol and partying. I still go and socialize, but I just don't spend all my money on stuff like that. That's just me. It's how I operate. People are different, and I understand feeding into a concern that you have might not be nice to hear, but for me, it's not really a concern for me personally. I don't like it, and I wish it was different, and hopefully they hear this and they understand that the players do not like this, including the Japanese players. I understand as well, Japan are up in arms about this, because separating these banners is just, it's not a fun time, it's not fun waiting, it diminishes the hype so drastically that it kind of, it does kill a lot of the excitement for the Sugo Fest. Like, it definitely does, and I definitely agree with you there, and I want that to change. I want them to put all of the characters into a video and make it all like super exciting, and all of the characters can be on a banner, and everyone can have a fun time summoning on day one. But if they aren't doing that, it is what it is. Hopefully they learn from that and they don't do it moving forward. But at the same time, this is what makes the money, especially from the Japanese community. This is what makes the money. So I do understand why they're going there. And if you want to complain about it, that's fine. Definitely complain about it. Throw complaints, but also think about constructive criticism on how to make it better, rather than just being like, this is shit, this is a disaster, this is bad, because you've done this. And I am now going to have to spend more money because I've spent all my gems on day one when no one forced you to spend those gems. No one asked you, said you had to. Yeah, sure, probably makes the Blitz easier. You want to rank highly, the top echelons of the Blitz, you're going to have to summon these characters anyway. So none of that changes. None of that changes. Final thing that I want to talk about before we dive into your guys' comments is the character itself. This character is insane. Like, this character is crazy good. Fantastic character for not only free-to-play players, but endgame players alike. So I do want to highlight that. And whilst they are a little bit wonky with their special only boosting colors, but their captain ability also boosting classes, this character is the ultimate friend captain because they want you to use this character with stuff like Verse Yamato. If you have Nami, you can just run a hybrid version. And I understand a lot of people want these characters per se. We have Straw Hats as rare recruits, that's great. We have Odin and the Toki. Basically the family of Odin, but it's an Odin and Toki dual unit. And I understand a lot of people don't love dual characters, but for new players, dual characters hold the most value, they hold the most power, and they help you get through majority of the game. I've started a new account. Using stuff like Ace Yamato is an absolute demon. Straw Hat Crew V2, absolutely amazing. And these characters, whilst they are dual units, they don't have stuff like super classes or super types, they can still have very powerful effects like super swaps. So we do need to be mindful of that as well. Alright, so first of all, I want to thank everyone that voted, that commented, did all that good stuff on this post. Like I said, you are heard, and I have been reading everyone's comments. I've been giving my 2 cents as well, and at the end of the day, all we can do is talk about this stuff. But I do want to highlight, try not to be as negative as possible. If you don't like something, I get it, I understand. I wanted King and Queen, I wanted Zoro Sanji as much as the next guy. But I am still hyped for Snake Man. I am a big Luffy fan. It goes Shanks and then Luffy for me. Snake Man, very, very popular character in my eyes, and a very popular form. And whilst I'm very fatigued on Yamato, I can see why this character is here. The fight on Onigashima. That episode where Luffy and Yamato fight together, it was awesome. It was really cool to read. It was really cool to watch. And I do love that this is now getting representation in the game. Like I said, other characters will come down the line. This character will be on a banner later down the line. But doesn't mean you have to summon right now. And we still don't have all the information, so just be mindful of that when you are making your comments, when you are saying stuff. But don't be afraid to. Just voice your opinion, as long as you have good intentions behind them, and you're doing it in a discussion that's not like, oh my god, this guy's hype, this guy's an idiot, this guy's wrong, or on vice versa, I can't believe you're not hype, and like, why are you being so negative, and you're an idiot. Like, cut all that crap out, and actually have a civilized discussion with each other, which I do love doing. So please don't be afraid. Don't ever say, like, I'm sorry if this is a hard truth. If you have an opinion, if it comes from a right place, like, I ain't gonna hold it against you. If anything, I'm just gonna respect you more. So, I said yesterday's Annie video caused a bit of a riot within the community. I'd love to do a discussion video about that and use all the comments to discuss further. And you guys popped off. 3 hours, 224 votes, and 25 comments. Big love to all you guys. So, BearPaw317 says, if Annie is only these 2 units, it'll be refreshing since we don't have a unit number power creep over the last few years. It is doubtful. There was the Enma gauge, could be Odin and Togi's rush mechanic, but yeah, I would hate for a film red 2 to 3 part Sugo structure. And yes, I agree, I would hate that as well, but as a content creator, I'm going to sit here and tell you guys you can use that to your advantage. There is another side to the coin, and yes, you can't get everything on part 1 like last year. It is different. We've seen it before, and you can actually use this to your advantage. T Golden, the GOAT, he says, the unit itself, within my predictions I made a week ago before the information, so I'm not upset necessarily about it. Whilst it is upsetting is how it's looking to be like Film Red for 6 legends spread over a long time. My hope for this anniversary has gone from 30 multis on part 1 to see what I could get, but now if I get Luffy Yamato on the first multi, for example, I'm done with my pulls already. Hate saying that getting the unit early would be both a blessing and a curse, because I was saving up for a long time and looking forward to pulling. But this structure banner really pulls for my incentive from what we know from so far. Hoping news time today brings redemption in that regard for Prey. So I totally agree with this. Like I said, for me, the Sugo structure of Film Red, it's not ideal. I would rather have all the units available on one part and then have their own respective parts, which they're going to do anyway. But like I said, this could be a blessing in disguise. Who knows that the next batch being, I'm going to predict King versus Queen, and then Zoro Sanji, so 3 Super Sugos. What's to say those units aren't way, way better than this particular Luffy and Yamato? And now you have a 1 in 3 chance of summoning that unit, rather than a 1 in 5 chance of summoning that unit. So, like I said, be smart with your currency. Maybe do 5 multis on this part if the steps are really, really good. If not, just wait for the next part, and you can always summon then. Also, something that I didn't highlight as well, we haven't had a Luffy legend in 7 months. Like, yeah, sure, I get it. Like, it's 7 months, it's not a long time, but he's the protagonist of the story, and we're always getting Luffy legends. Anniversary has had a Luffy legend since year 2, so, like, it shouldn't be that big of a shock that it's a Luffy. I get the Yamato thing, but the Luffy shouldn't be big of a shock. And the last one we had was the Super Sugo Luffy on September 9th. September 9th was the last time we got a Luffy legend, so, like, 7 months to me, like, it's better than what it has been in the past. Marcelo says, I get that this is Bandai's last chance for Luffy and Yamato dual unit, but seriously, another Super Sugo Luffy and Yamato, isn't this the 5th Luffy, Final Tap, Straw Hat Crew, Super Tandem, and Film Red, and the 4th Yamato, Final Tap, Verse, and with Ace, that we have being Super Sugos? And like I said, I definitely agree. I definitely understand the fatigue. I can totally understand where people are coming from with the fatigue. Like Totsuki said, involving Dragon Momo would have made it 100 times better. And about Zoro, Sanji, King, and Queen, they will be involved. It's obvious. It will just be the same as Film Red. But Bandai can't release Masters King right now because it has to happen in the anime. Spoilers too, by the way, there. So waiting for 2 to 3 weeks. In conclusion, I am not pulling for you, Luffy Yamato, unless the steps are tempting, but I'm still hyped for the next banners. Very good mentality to have, Marcelo. Like, that's a terrific comment. I totally agree with the fatigue. I disagree with Dragon Momo. Dragon Momo doesn't sell. Like, at the end of the day, you're just slapping Luffy onto a Momo unit. Like, who knows if this Momo with Odin actually triggers some super types. And you bet your ass, we're going to be getting that unit down the line. I just don't think that that's an anniversary hype character like what Yamato is. Yamato, she sells a lot more than Momo, and it's just the way it is. As for the second half of your comment, I definitely agree. I think the anime definitely screwed over the game. They can say stuff at sometimes, but do remember, like, that guy is coming, like, probably within the next 3 months. So if you guys don't want to summon here, if you want to skip Anniversary altogether, I totally understand. Just summon for that. Like, if people are saying I've been saving for Anniversary all this time, like, that's what you really want to be saving for. That particular banner, and when that guy comes. So, very, very well constructed comment. What's bad is the premise of this anniversary. Given a short video and the image appeared on the JP website, we are looking at a Film Red-like situation, which is bad in my honest opinion. I don't like back-to-back Super Sugos. My original plan was to do 30 multis on part 1. Now I'm thinking about skipping everything and playing free-to-play upcoming events. David, I 100% hear you and 100% agree. The short video and the slither of information we got is pretty poor for a multi-billion-dollar company. I think they definitely could have handled that better, and they should have handled that better, but that's what we got, and we have to sort of try and extract what we can without sort of like putting our tin hat theories on too much and spiraling down a rabbit hole that just creates infinite negativity. I don't like back-to-back Sugo Fest as much as the next guy too, but in the sense of what they did last year, where they had 5 parts, where you summon a lot on part 1, and then you could strategically plan part 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it did make sense, but at the same time, this particular banner structure kind of has that same mentality about it. It's just a little bit worse. And the patience game and the waiting game has always been a problem for the community, and it creates a lot of frustration, which emphasizes emotion, and I do understand that, and that's why I'm trying to say, try and withhold your emotion and think about things logically, and have constructive criticism, rather than just blasting emotional torture at the screen. Monkey D Gaster, this anniversary is completely banking on PKA being good because there really isn't any other content otherwise. I totally agree with that. I'm very excited for PKA, and I hope it carries. I don't want it to carry, but I hope it's so good that it can carry, whilst other content's still very good. I think Super Evolutions, good content, good free-to-play characters, they make an anniversary, not the summonable units. It also seems like Yoshi's given up, even trying to put up a front and caring and taking player feedback, not even showing up for the producer video or anything. I totally agree there as well. It's very concerning, and honestly, I don't have an answer for you there. I wish I did, but it does seem very concerning that he can't even turn up for the biggest celebration of the year. I really don't know how much more the community can take before we have an exodus or a meltdown. Like, even the JP side of things are having problems with the game with the Utsu Studio Fest and the Treasure Map Big Mom reschedule of last year. They'll even be disappointed in this. And I totally agree. Like, I 100% agree. With good comes bad, and with bad comes good, and sometimes the game's going to be in a better spot than others, and it sucks right now because it's an anniversary, and there's a lot of things that aren't hitting people's expectations, but that doesn't mean that they can't come. At the end of the celebration, at the end of the anniversary, that's when we can kind of sit down and digest everything and go, okay, well, they fucked up, or they didn't do this to what they should have done, and that's when we can throw all of the shade, all of our final opinions, but for now, we're kind of still clutching at straws with a lot of things. At the end of the day, we don't even know if this is going to be like a Film Red celebration. Like, it does seem that way with the schedule that they've given us, but who knows? They could still just release 4 to 5 legends and just break them up onto 2 different, like, parts, and then you're just not having the opportunity to summon everything on part 1 like we did last year. So, who knows? There could only be 4 legends this year. The after party could just be the same as Kid and Law, and that could just be a regular Sugo Fest, which, like, at the end of the day, would suck that you have to skip. But at the end of the day, you can pick them up literally on the treasure map ticket 2 months' time. So, it is what it is. Kiri Karasu, I do not really care if it would have been Zoro, Sanji, King, Queen. This whole anniversary just feels not right. There are no companions around it, nor a raid, or even a blitz battle. On top of the Sugo, Luffy, which is ultimately going to get worse when the one we're all waiting for comes up. I'm doing some pulls anyway, but I'm definitely staying away from spending money from 9th anniversary. I'm just disappointed for what it is right now. It still just feels like a whole selling point for the banner is generic good Super Sugo Fest of Luffy Yamato, especially with their attack multiply. Except for that, sure, they're good, but there's nothing special going on for them. No new mechanic, no cool gimmicks, just generic matching slots, damage reduction, Yamato's all-time bind removal, generic stuff with just huge numbers equals selling point. I'd love to see some uniqueness again, especially when it comes to Super Sugo Fest exclusive. That's why I'm hoping for some cool and maybe out of the way choices like Sanji vs Queen and Zola vs King. However, maybe we'll get that part 2. Hope dies last. So, good comment. Absolutely well structured. I think Luffy Yamato as well they're a surefire way of securing the bag for them if they try and do some fun stuff with stuff like Zoro, King, Queen, Sanji. If they try and do some fun stuff part 2 and it flops, they have Yamato and Luffy to fall back on. Because like I said, this banner will be available at the same time as part 2. Sure, steps and stuff might be different, but like I said, it could be a blessing in disguise. Whilst I definitely hear you, the film red side of things, it's not good. It could still be half glass full or half glass empty. I want to see some uniqueness as well. I love this new character. I think they're an amazing power creep. And I do understand the what content though, but with PKO just around the corner and with Super Boss, this character does hold a lot of viability, and I'm really hoping that this character sees some very good play there. And at the moment, that's where my hype comes from, and if that changes, and if it doesn't meet that satisfaction, then I can give these same opinions, and I can give these same feelings that you guys are portraying when it's actually in front of me, not when it's a potential or an imaginary thought at the moment. So, great comment, Kiri. You definitely heard. I do love this part here, saying I'm going to be doing some pulls anyway because like the banner's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of good characters on it, but I'm not spending money on the 9th anniversary as of right now because you're disappointed. I'm sorry to hear you're disappointed, but I do love that you're voting with your wallet, so well done there. Jesse, there is a big lack of fresh content in general. We badly need some new Garb challenges, Forest Arena. I agree with this. I don't want them to bring back things that are already there. I want them to make new versions of them. New Garb challenges, new forest, new arenas. That would be awesome, and more content the better, right? Wanted Zoro, Sanji, and got Luffy Yamato. Kind of killed the already non-existing hype they built up for this anniversary, but still summoning, just won't be spending money or grinding extra hard for gems. Wish they would have dropped content or announced something to do. I 100% agree. Not giving us like a hype build up, like a build up to the initial video, or not giving us some more information about some of this stuff has killed the non-existent hype, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of hype even for Zoro, Sanji, King, and Queen anyway. So it kind of is what it is. And again, I do love that you're saying that you're still going to summon because the banners are hard, but you're not going to be spending money. So it's a good job, Irene. Great comment. James Edwards, do you think it's going to have parts? I see Totsuki saying he somewhat believes it will be like film instruction divided into 3 parts. And if that's the case, still going to be hard to top that Yamato Luffy. I do think there will be a secondary part in between. I really hope that is all that there's going to be. It will be another Super Sugo. I am under the impression that the after party won't be a Super Sugo Fest. I believe it'll be like Kid and Law. So that will be kind of like an easy skip. But once we get information for part 2, and even once we get information for part 3, that's when I would say have your, well, even like, towards the back end of the celebration, that's when I would say spend some gems. Remember, you're getting a lot of free-to-play gems, you're getting a lot of free-to-play currency for this anniversary, and if you want to save them for that guy that will be coming eventually, I totally understand. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they throw at us this anniversary. If you're saving for that guy, doesn't matter what was coming, you should be saving anyway. So I don't really see the argument in that regard. But I do believe that there will be another Super Sugo in the middle, but the after party, I don't think will be. Some people have replied to this. Even if Luffy is the best unit, it won't matter because the content associated with the rewards, you lose out. You do, but like, you just got to play the game. It just makes things a little bit more grindy. These guys are having a conversation, so I'm going to leave it there. It just makes things take a little bit longer. Like, that's the thing. I love any units despite them not being what people wanted. I also want to do a few pulls to celebrate my birthday. Happy birthday to you, Dolphin Diver. Anyways, can't wait for the discussion video stump. I don't have anything super exciting to offer in terms, except that I can't wait to get hold of Luffy Yamato. Shout out to Dolphin Diver. He's excited. He's having fun. And everyone else here, hashtag happy birthday, Dolphin Diver in the comment section below. Brave, 1988, Brave, the anime scene from Luffy Yamato was pretty nice, but it happened quite a while ago, and that has not much to do with hype, in my opinion. We have to wait and see what Sanji and Queen fight, and the Zoro's fight is still going on. Could not care less about a Luffy Yamato unit, no matter how high their numbers are. They could make them an 8x captain, and would not be exciting. I'll probably skip this part completely and wait for the Straw Hat Sugo Fest. And why the heck is there Odin Toki unit right now? What kind of role are they playing in the anime right now? Heck, Queen beating Zoro's ass legend would have made more sense. Shout out to you, Brave. I definitely agree with the start part. But I think they were sort of banking on that Shonen Jump artwork as well. That's kind of why they've done this and why they've waited. I do believe it was a pretty hype moment. Seeing Luffy and Yamato fighting together. A lot of people were under the impression that Yamato will become a Straw Hat as well. So there's that side of things as well. And Yamato is a very, very exciting character. But like I said at the start, I definitely understand the Luffy and Yamato fatigue. And if you're not going to summon for this unit, don't summon for this unit, because you do know, like I said, like I keep saying, that guy is coming. Fire Yoshi Marco, that's up to Bandai headquarters. I just wish he would show face. How are you going to do your pool stump? Going in all on part 1 seems like a bait to me. The part 1 hype on this banner has gone to shit. Joel, I definitely agree. I have already made commitments to go in on part 1 with a collab and with a bingo, so make sure to look forward to that. As for going for 30, it really depends on what the rest of the character looks like. It depends on what their final tap looks like. And it depends on what is to come. I will probably get 1 copy and dip for now. That's probably going to be the best way to approach it, even for players that want the character, as there are other characters to come. But if they're crazy like Nami, like man, who knows? Destroy them. Okay, thanks DL3, shout out to you. TD Maker, what to expect from Anniversary in my opinion. Step 1, release super limited legends and limited time content for people to pull and save all their gems, not miss juicy content rewards. This here, you can still get the rewards, it just means you're going to have to play more. Simple as that. Like, they don't restrict rewards for this kind of content without having the unit. It just means that it's going to take you a little bit longer, it's going to mean you're going to work a little bit harder, and at the end of the day, the whales are always going to summon, and the whales are always going to spend. And I do get that, but look, the Japan side of the game is always just going to spend for the sake of, like, literally for the PNG. So, yeah. Step 2, release better. Also, super limited Sugos legends are more juicy. Limited time content to get people to spend more dollars, and then that they save their gems are now gone. Step 3, release even better must-have super limited legends and content that can't miss the rewards of the spending action. Drop the rates. It'd be terrible, by the way, for the units of the rare recruits. The worst part is the whales will spend to feed their drug-like addiction, and these problems will never get any better, because Bandai will then have no motivation to fix since the money keeps rolling in. It's all pretty gross at this point. I honestly love this game and hope I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Seems to me that the whales have no self-control and are ruining this game. I'm looking at you, Chaozu. Is that too harsh? I kind of give folks like Totsuki credit for actually not having every unit in the game nowadays. A campaign to 1-star rate this game until the changes takes place. It should be happening. Was it Knight that left the game? I feel that maybe I should have considered following his example more, as I think I have become an angry old man of OPTC. Whether you use my comment or not, Stump, thank you for this platform to vent truly. Yep, no worries. Oh, anytime. Like, you can call me out for, like, doing what I do. Like, it's absolutely fine. No one is always going to agree and see eye to eye. At the end of the day, I don't have every legend in the game either. I skipped the last 3 banners, so I don't know what else to tell you. But, in saying that, I do understand where your comment comes from. As for this part of things, I disagree with the last parts. If we take a look at the Film Red Super Sugo Fest, for example, Uta was the best and most desirable, and she came out first. So, they threw the best at us first, and then released other things after. And yes, Shanks, yes, Luffy, they helped in Treasure Map, they helped in those ranking events. However, like a lot of players have shown with knowledge of the game, playing the game, you don't need all the characters to still rank very highly. It just takes a little bit more effort, takes a little bit more brain power, and takes a little bit more grind. Yes, that sucks, but that's how it is every single month. So, because it's anniversary, I think that's much heightened. As for this part here, the whales spend and never get better. Like I said before, I don't believe there is a problem spending money on something that you enjoy. It's easy for me to say that as well because I have a return of investment. So does Chaozu, so does Totsuki, and so does every other content creator that can make profit from this game. Thanks to you beautiful people watching our content. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that good stuff. But this mentality in Japan is a norm. Like, living over there for a month and watching this kind of stuff, gacha cons everywhere, the way they bypass systems for gambling, no gambling, stuff like that, this is built into their culture. And at the end of the day, no matter what they release, because we are on the same timeline, Japan is going to spend. So they are always going to take that concept, target at the Japanese audience. They don't care about the global side of things and just go spend. Pappy was the one that said it way back when. The merge of timelines is the worst thing to happen to global players, because we do not have the same mentality as a Japanese player, and knowing what's to come, having better banner structures, and them trying to psychologically bait us into summoning for units that we don't need has always been better for us as a community, because we don't live under the same culture as the Japanese player base. This kind of mentality that you're talking about is fed into Japan. It's what they're brought up on. It's the way they culture their lives, and they don't throw shame at spending money or doing something they enjoy because they actually enjoy it. It's a really nice way to go about things. I remember sitting in a bar in Japan, and this guy had Pokemon cards, and he opened Pokemon cards at the bar, and like 50 people gathered around that just got super excited for him to pull absolutely nothing. He pulled fucking nothing. He pulled one holo card out of 3 booster packs, and everyone got super excited. He took a photo, he posted it to his friends, he showed them what he got. And this was in a bar in Japan. So this kind of stuff, whilst I definitely hear you and I definitely understand, the drug-like addiction part, that's something that people really need to check themselves, because if you're spending money you don't have, if you're feeding into something, if you say you're going to do something, if you say you're not going to do something and then you go and do it anyway, that is a problem that you need to check. But there is no shame and there is no problem with spending money on a game or anything in life that brings you happiness and brings you joy, provided it doesn't detriment the rest of your life and bring other areas of your life down. So once again, I do want to thank all of you beautiful people having the confidence, having the strength, having whatever you want to call it, to actually come out and voice your opinions. As for this anniversary, yes, I am hyped for anniversary. For me as a content creator, me as someone that loves Luffy and loves One Piece, I am still excited for what's to come, because there is still a lot to come. All of those things, king, queen, all that sort of stuff, it hasn't gone anywhere. Yes, there are problems that are bubbling within the surface, and there are things to be concerned about. I think it's very easy to just stop and just start shouting problems and concerns and emotions without looking at what's good as well, and what you can do as a player to actually not only get the best out of a bad situation, but still have fun within the game that you play. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're not having fun, then I really don't know what else to tell you. You really should check yourself. And if it means putting the game down, I would hate to see you leave the community. I would hate to see you go. But if it's going to do better for you, then do better for you. At the end of the day, as the GOAT Captain Pappy said, vote with your wallets. At the end of the day, no one is forcing you to summon. If you don't like the Yamato and the Luffy hype, skip part 1 and focus on part 2. If you don't like Odin and the family, skip that part, focus on the stuff that you do want. Because at the end of the day, you don't need every single character to rank to get every single reward. Yes, it makes it harder. Yes, it makes it more of a grind. And yes, it is more of a struggle. But you can still have fun within the game if you don't have everything day 1. You still can. It's the bottom line. And at the end of the day, if you're saving for that guy and you're concerned that we have another Luffy legend before that guy, it really shouldn't matter, because you're saving for that guy anyway. That's the hard truth. And hopefully I got to break down a lot of your guys' concerns. And like I said, please let me know in the comment section of this video how you guys feel. We might have more information once this video goes live, because it'll just pop off right before news time on Wednesday the 10th of the 5th for me. So there might be more information, and like, please, I would love to talk about there. But like I said, keep it critical, keep it constructive, keep it friendly, keep it positive. Even if your comments are negative, keep it positive, and let's have a general discussion about this, because they do watch this stuff, they do read this kind of stuff, and whilst they target a lot of their stuff towards the Japanese player base, they do listen to concerns. They just probably don't target the what am I trying to say? They don't target the fixes towards what the global community want. But if you enjoyed the video, bolt the like button. If you didn't like the video, look, dislike the video. That's fine with me too. Your opinions and your thoughts are not to be discredited, and they're definitely not heard. Yeah, but like, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.